This is Doofy McButterscotch, and we're here to start Steve McQueen's list. How convenient. There he is right there. Right next to his list. Anyway, let's get started. The Towering Inferno. It stars McQueen alongside Paul Newman, and they are basically, well, as you can see from the title, Chief O'Halloran, Steve McQueen is a firefighter, and Inferno is all about a burning building, and Paul Newman is one of the guys who's in the building, one of the top executives, that sort of thing. So it's a disaster kind of movie where two people get together and try to save as many people as they can from the building, and it's pretty darn good. And yeah, it gets a thumbs up from me. Thumbs up. And then we move on to Papillon. It looks like papillon, but it's actually French for butterfly. And Dustin Hoffman is also in this, so it's got a really good acting in it. It's got, yeah, Steve McQueen is a convict, and Dustin Hoffman is also a convict. So if you're into those convict movies about criminals and stuff, this is really pretty good, because it's not like the stereotypical criminal thing. You don't see a lot of French criminals. You don't see a lot of films made about them unless you're in France. So it's pretty new, and it's got some uniqueness to it. It's a whole different prison system than you're used to, and it's really quite unique. I've seen quite a few prison films since I've been going through this list, and I definitely recommend it. It's pretty good. And then we get to Bullet. Now, this is where we start going downhill with Steve McQueen, with a few exceptions here and there. But most of the films listed below are quite awful. Bullet is a film about a cop, and I have to say, out of all, there are a lot of very good cop movies out there. Whether it's about cops being villainous, whether it's about cops being good, I mean, whether cops are just generally involved in the story. I mean, movies about cops are really, really good, and this is not one of them. Bullet is a sucky cop movie. If you're looking to watch a good old cop flick, don't watch Bullet. It's got a cool name. You see it? Bullet. Whoa, that's pretty nice. I want to see that. Don't. I recommend you do not watch it because it is lame. It's really lame. Steve McQueen's acting is shitty. Basically, when an actor plays a cop, they exaggerate a lot because cops usually aren't that animated. And they're not. This is basically Steve McQueen playing a real-life cop, which is incredibly boring. It's not interesting at all. It's just a depressing story about some cop who doesn't talk a lot, goes around, and it's not one of those cool cops that doesn't talk a lot. It's not like Danny Trejo or Clint Eastwood. I mean, they don't talk a lot, but they don't do the talking with their mouths. They do the talking with the bullets. But this guy's just fucking lame. I mean, he just doesn't talk. He just goes around, mopes around. He just sucks. He just sucks. And the villain in the whole movie is lame. It's like usually when you shoot the villain, it's like, but-da-da-da. It's like, hey, look who won. But in this story, you shoot the villain and it's like, bang. You see that uncomfortable silence there? That's exactly what they did there. They replicated what happens in real life, because when you shoot someone in real life, a musical score does not follow. It's just an uncomfortable silence and maybe one person screaming. It's like, shoot, bang. It's just so very boring. Very boring. Sand Pebbles is an exception. It gets good again. I mean, Sand Pebbles is a decent movie. It's a military one. Steve McQueen is playing in this one, and there's some sand, but there's not a lot of pebbles. It's just one of those run-of-the-mill war movies. It's kind of just average, but it's not terrible. It's okay. Getaway. Now we're back to the terrible movies again. Getaway. The remake of Getaway was really awesome. But the original Getaway, sometimes you watch the original and then you watch the remake and you think, the original was way better. Not in this case. The original sucked ass. It was just not as good. Once again, Steve McQueen plays a very droll and dull character. He's supposed to be the badass, but he comes across as lame. And the villain is actually pretty good. I think the villain in the movie actually carries the whole movie. But Steve McQueen himself, he drags it down like a fucking anchor. It's like The Getaway. It's another really awesome title, but he drags the fucker down. Every other actor in the movie is doing a good part, except him. He's being a jackass. He's just not being good. I mean, it's this terrific story, but he fucks it up. Thank goodness they remade the movie with Alec Baldwin, who is such a better actor than Steve McQueen. Such a better actor. Then you got Thomas Crown Affair, another movie that has been remade with Pierce Brosnan. Thomas Crown Affair, it's not really that great of a movie by itself. I mean, Pierce Brosnan did as much justice for the movie as he possibly could. But the original was far worse. You want to know why? Fucking Steve McQueen. That's why. It's dull because he's trying to be this con artist who is like manipulating everyone, and he's boring. How can you be a con artist if you're boring? If you're boring and you're a con artist, you're not going to succeed. Period. It's just, you can't believe the character. Great Escape, this is another exception. Why? Because there's a whole shit ton of other actors to make the movie not suck. There's a lot of actors in there. It's an ensemble piece. If it was only Steve McQueen, it would have probably blown really bad, but it was pretty good. It was another convict one where a whole bunch, well, it's more like a military convict one, because people are captured from America and in the enemy camp, and they try to escape. Some of them do, some of them don't, and it's pretty good. I'd say it's one of the better Steve McQueen ones. And then you got Le Mans. Now, it's going to take me a little while to get through this one because it is a special kind of terrible. So I've still got quite a bit of time before my camera runs out of steam here, but it's going to take me a long time to get through with this shit. So we'll talk about Le Mans in the next video. See you later.